Have you ever wanted to visit Vietnam but have no idea what to do there? Or are you visiting Hanoi and just don't know where to start? Let me show you exactly how to make the most of your time in this city. Good morning everybody, I've just arrived in downtown Hanoi. Here for the day. I went straight to the hotel, dropped down my things and I'm straight out on my travels, trying to fit in as much as I can for the day. As you see, for the next 10 minutes or so, there is so much on my itinerary and so much I'm going to get through in these 24 hours. And the best thing about Hanoi is that everything's in such close distance from one another. You can walk. It's probably going to take me about 2 hours to cover so many things, which is great if you're on a time budget. Time budget? I think I just invented a word there. If you're on a time budget, you don't have much time, this 24-hour plan, your first 24 hours in Hanoi is going to be perfect for you. Okay, my first spot of the day is Turtle Lake. It does have another name, but if you do watch my other videos, you know that pronunciation is not my strong suit. I think it's Hoam Kim Lake. It's a pretty significant one, it's hard to miss, but it's got this beautiful little temple in the middle. Look at that. I don't think you can get to it unless you want to swim, probably get eaten by crocs on the way, but it's a huge lake, you can walk around, it probably take you an hour or so to walk around it, but there's a lovely little imperial bridge with a temple in the middle, I think you have to pay to get in. It's not much, it's like 20,000 dong, it's cheap. But you can go in and you can see the story behind the lake and how they worship this turtle who used to live here. There's a lot of history, some stranger told me the story all about it and I forgot already. It's a turtle, super important, you can go and see it in a museum, it's worth checking out. As I mentioned, there is a ton of history behind this lake. The lake tells a wild story of a turtle god who once lived there and who helped supply a sword that was responsible for the defeat of Chinese invaders. But it's also a beautiful central hub of the city and a great starting point for your journey through Hanoi. Also, right next to the lake is also a magnificent Gothic looking church called St Andrews. It's definitely worth checking out if you're right next to the lake, and it also has some really cool bars and cafes right next door. I don't know what's going on here, it's meant to be monsoon season and I think I've struck a bit of luck because it's absolutely boiling. I think it's 36 degrees, the humidity is right up here, I am dripping wet, but lucky for you, you can't see or smell me, which is great. So I've made it to the next spot and I think you're really going to like this one. It's pretty famous. No matter where you are in the world, I think you've heard of Hanoi's Train Street. So as you can see, I'm walking straight in the tracks. There's no train at the moment, obviously, otherwise I would have been in the tracks. But the train comes several times a day, I think every 2 hours on weekends and maybe just the evenings on weekdays. And it comes through, there's market stalls along the side and they move out the way, especially for the train. Obviously the locals of the sick of seeing tourists swarming this place 24/7, but it's a cool thing to come and see. I just had the most beautiful lunch on the train street too. There's loads of little cafes and bars and restaurants all along the way as you've seen, but I had my dinner at one of those on the side, literally a few feet from the track. And the train wasn't meant to come. I got a copy of the train schedule and when it's coming, and it wasn't meant to come for another hour, but it surprised us and it came past as I was eating my dinner, literally about 2 feet away from me, and I was watching that go by as I was eating. It was great, what a cool experience. I've been told by a lot of people prior to coming here that it can be quite a dangerous place in some of the side streets and some of the inner city, as the scooters, obviously there's so many of them, they can come riding past you and there's a lot of snatch and grab thefts of your phones, cameras, and obviously if I'm walking around vlogging on a camera, I gotta be super careful. But for the day that I've been here so far, I felt super safe. I don't feel like I've had to look over my shoulder. I don't know, maybe I've just had a bit of luck, but I feel like it's a really safe place. So right now we're at the Temple of Literature, which is pretty much the epitome of Vietnamese architecture. Everything here is over 1,000 years old, and it's also considered to be one of the first universities in Vietnam. This place is genuinely really cool, and the temple's architecture will blow you away. The temple was built in the 11th century, and for nearly 2 centuries, despite wars and disasters, the temple has preserved its ancient architectural styles from many dynasties, as well as all the precious relics that it holds. I love how crammed everything is in this city though. The streets are so small and there's just 50 shops in one building. It's just absolute madness, but I love it. Look at this guy saying hello. Hello! No, you're okay, thank you so much. And every 2 minutes you walk, there's a guy trying to get you on his motorbike. I respect it, I get it, you're trying to make a living, but I don't want to get on your motorbike. A short distance from the temple, you'll also come across arguably one of the most important attractions in the whole of Vietnam. This is the Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum. This place serves as the official resting place of the former president Ho Chi Minh. Visiting the mausoleum is free of charge, but it does involve a lot of strictly enforced regulations, and there is a high-level security check upon arrival. Also, if you head around the back of the monument, you will find the iconic one-pillar pagoda. And my next stop is the Dong Xuan Mega Market. This place has got 3 floors full of every souvenir you could even dream of. It's got slippers, it's got bags, it's got rubber ducks, it's got ornaments. Anything. If you're after a souvenir from Vietnam, this is the place to go. It's absolute chaos inside, but it's just full to the brim with stores and stuff all over the floor. There's people jumping over each other. It's a mess, but it's a lot of fun if you want to haggle for some price, want to get some cheap stuff. Here's the place to go. Is it real? Who knows? But it's cheap. Wow, this place really comes alive at night. Look at this. Okay, that looks empty, but it's absolutely heaving with people. So it's the end of the day, and I think the best way to end it off is to go to a traditional Vietnamese water puppet show. Let's see how this goes. Water puppetry is a deeply respected tradition for the people of Vietnam. This unique art first appeared around the 15th century, when farmers would gather to perform shows for their family and friends. It's mind-blowing to me how people will pass through Vietnam without seeing one of these unique traditions. The Water Puppet Theatre in Hanoi is conveniently located right beside Turtle Lake, and the area is also transformed into a wild and vibrant walking street every single night. Wow, what a long 24 hours it's been. But you've got to admit we did cover a lot today, and we have saw some of the top attractions in Hanoi. But if there's anything that I missed on my itinerary that you do think should have been included, just drop a comment down below and let me know. But as always, I hope you gained some value from this, and I hope it helps you with an upcoming trip, or if you're revisiting the city, the country for the 3rd, 4th, 5th time. And most importantly, I hope you can get yourself out here to this wonderful place and see it for your own eyes. Peace.